Today is Tuesday, November 2. My name is Pastor Anthony, and this is Wilderness Wanderings. Today our text comes from Luke chapter 12. And he, that is Jesus, told them this parable. The ground of a certain rich man yielded an abundant harvest. He thought to himself, "What shall I do? I have no place to store my crops." Then he said, "This is what I'll do. I will tear down my barns and build bigger ones, and there I will store my surplus grain. And I'll say to myself, 'Self, you have plenty of grain laid up for many years. Take life easy, eat, drink, and be merry.' But God said to him, 'You fool, this very night your life will be demanded from you. Then who will get what you have prepared for yourself?' This is how it will be with whoever stores up things for themselves, but is not rich toward God." That's Luke chapter 12, verses 16 through 21. The text from yesterday's devotion on leaving fallen wheat for gleaners from Deuteronomy, and other texts like it, is exactly the backdrop that Jesus had in mind when he spoke this parable. In it, a common problem occurs. A rich man is blessed with an abundant harvest, far in excess of what he needs. The same happened to many of us through this COVID season as our bank accounts and portfolios went surprisingly and significantly up. So, the rich man asked the obvious question, "What shall I do?" And he decides to do what many of us have done. He does some home renovations. "I'll tear down my barns and build bigger ones," he says. "And then I'll say to myself, 'Self, you have plenty of grain laid up for many years. Take life easy, eat, drink, and be merry.'" Again, we do the same thing. We think to ourselves, if I can't store my surplus cash in a cruise or a foreign vacation right now, I guess I'll have to store it in my home renovation instead so that I have a fine place built for many years to come. The point in any case is to arrive and take life easy. The sharp words from Jesus indicate his thoughts on the matter, though. "Fool, this very night your life is demanded from you," he says. "Then who will get what you have prepared for yourself?" Ouch. So is Jesus against wealth, vacations, and home renos? Well, not per se. In this parable, Jesus emphasizes the words I, my, and self. The rich man is all alone, and quite content that way. He never discusses with nor thinks of anyone else, not God and not his neighbor either, which is unheard of in what the law foresees as the community of Israel. It's just a conversation with me, myself, and I. The rich man's wealth has isolated him from the community. But again, according to the law, wealth is communal. Firstly, land is not owned. It is an inheritance given by God in trust. But the land can be lost due to mismanagement. The land can spit you out if you don't follow God with the land. So wealth is merely a trusteeship, and therefore has firstly to do with the God who has granted the trust. Secondly, land is held in trust for the sake of the community, not just for the person whose name happens to be on the deed. If you've been given a trust, you'd better make sure that payments continue to flow to the proper recipients. In this case, those without homes, land, or money. The biblical conviction is that the bellies of the poor is the best place to store your surplus grain. This is about more than generosity and giving. It's a question of lifestyle. Will you curtail your lifestyle for the sake of your neighbor in a tent? Will you forego a trip, the bigger house? Will you skip a night out, or refrain from toys and entertainment for their sake? If not, then in what sense do you love your neighbor as you love yourself? The wisdom of the world says that we should act like the rich barn builder. Jesus says, that's foolish. and he offers a wisdom in response that looks foolish to the rest of the world. The Christian goal is not about building assets to a nice retirement full of travel and leisure, or even keeping up with the Joneses. No, you must keep a lifestyle that is humble enough to be able to truly love God first and your neighbor as yourself. Never does Jesus draw a line to say what that lifestyle is. But if your wealth is a barrier to either of those things, love of God or love of neighbor, then it may be time to distribute the trust. As you journey on, go with the blessing of God. May the peace of the Lord Christ go with you, wherever he may send you. May he guide you through the wilderness, protect you through the storm. May he bring you home rejoicing at the wonders he has shown you. May he bring you home rejoicing once again into our doors.